Welcome to Flutter teacher. In this video, we will learn the concept called named parameters in the functions. So without wasting time, let's get started. Inside the last video, we talked about positional parameters in the Dart. So I really recommend you guys to go ahead and watch the video called positional parameters. Let's look at this example program. In this case, I have a function called test that receives total 3 parameters a, b and c, and these are the positional parameters. That's the reason when I'm calling a function test, it's compulsory for me to pass total 3 parameters, and this must be in the same sequence that I have specified in the function. And when I run this program, I will get the output a, b, c as the value called 10, 20 and 30. Now let's look at the biggest drawback of positional parameter. In case of positional parameter, I can't identify which value goes for what parameters. Means I can't understand this 10 goes for what, 20 goes for what. Simply I understand that first value goes to first parameter and second goes for second parameter. Consider a situation where I have a function that has a huge number of parameters. Means it might have 10 parameters or more than 10 parameters. So in this case, it will be little difficult for me to understand the same sequence and pass the parameters in the exactly same sequence that function receives. In order to solve this problem, Dart has a concept called named parameter. Now what is the advantage of named parameter? In case of named parameter, I don't need to remember the sequence in which function is defined with the parameters. I can select my own sequence to pass the parameters for the function. In order to make the positional parameters as the name parameter, we have to place these parameters inside the curly brackets. So as I have placed these parameters inside the curly bracket, these are now the named parameters, and all named parameters are optional. That's the reason I'm getting here for the null safety. That is, the value of a, b and c is not compulsory, so it can be null if it is not specified. So I should make it a nullable. So if you don't know what is nullable and non-nullable, I recommend you guys to go ahead and watch my video where I talk about null safety in the Dart. Now you can see I have a proper named parameter a, b and c, and all these are the nullable variable, that is it can accept the null value. Now when I'm calling a function, I can't call a function in the same way that we have used in case of positional parameters. So whenever a function has name parameters, for passing the value for this parameter, we must specify the name. Let's say I should write b colon 5, then I can say c colon 10 and a colon 9. So this is the way to pass a parameter in case of the named parameters. So it's very easy for me to identify that this 5 will go for the parameter called b, value 10 will go for the parameter c, and value 9 will go for the parameter a. And the happy news here is I can define my own sequence for passing the parameters. So when I run this program, you can see over the screen the value of a is 9, b is 5 and the value of c is 10 here. Now you might have a question, can I pass the parameters in this way I have specified here? I will say no. Whenever we have a name parameter, it's compulsory for you to pass the parameter in the form of name of parameter and the value of parameter by specifying a colon. Let's say like this, a colon then the value. So you can't pass only value for the parameter. It's compulsory to pass each and every value by specifying the name of parameter itself. All name parameters are optional. Let's understand this example. In this case, I'm simply ignoring the value of c and the a here, and the value for only b is specified. And when I rerun the program, you can see the value of a is null because I haven't specified the value for a. The value of b is 5, that's what I have passed in my function call, and c has got the value null, which is of course the default value for the c. Now if I say a is equals to, let's say the value for a is 10, and if I rerun the program, in this case a will receive the value 10, b has a value 5, and there is no value for c. That's why the c has value null here. So I hope it's clear for you guys that all the named parameters are optional. In this case, you can see when I'm not specifying the value for c will receive the null value. But let's say you want that the parameter value should not be null, then in this case you can specify the default value. Let's say I specified value for c as the 0. When I rerun the program, you can see the value of c is not a null, it's actually a 0, which is the default value I specified. So it's not compulsory to pass 0 always as the default value. This is what I prefer here. And let's say if I pass the value for C, like say C colon 40, and when I rerun the program, you can see the C will receive the value 40, which is what the value that I specified. It's possible to pass the default value for any of the parameter in case of the name parameter. Let's say I can write a is equals to 55. It means a will have the default value 55. And when I remove the value from a in a function call, and when I rerun the program, you can see as I'm not specifying value for a will have the default value 55, b is enjoying the value 5 here, and c is enjoying the value 40 that I specified here. But let's say if I specify the value for a, that is, let's say I'm specifying value 9, and when I rerun the program, you will observe here a will receive the value 9. That's what I've specified here. Right now we have learned that all name parameters are optional. That is, it's not compulsory for me to pass the value for the name parameter. But there might be a situation that I want to continue with name parameters, because name parameters are really beautiful compared to the positional parameter. And believe me guys, every Flutter developer really loves the name parameters over the positional parameters. So consider a situation I have name parameter, then by default they are optional. But my requirement is to make the parameter as the compulsory. Means I want that parameter value must be specified in a function call. So for doing this, that has given the concept called required. So for if let's say if I want to make this b as a required parameter, that is a compulsory parameter, then I should specify the required annotation like this. Now, what do you mean by it? The value for b is compulsory. So if I remove the value for b here, let's say I remove here. Now in this case, you can see I'm getting an error. It says that name parameter b is required. So it's compulsory for me to pass the value for b. However, the value of a and c are optional. So I must specify the value for b. Let's say I'm writing here b colon, let's say 30. And if I rerun this program, so as I'm not passing value for a, so a will receive the value 55. B has got a value 30, which is of course that I specified. C has got the default value, that is the 0. And if I try to call a function in this way, then again I will have an error. The simple reason is it's compulsory for me to pass the value for b here, because b is a kind of required parameters. That's it for this video. See you guys in the next video. If you really like the way I am explaining the concept, then don't forget to like my videos, share my videos, subscribe my channel, and hit the bell notification button to get my latest videos.